Hi everyone, we're from team number 5 and we're going to be reintroducing Mercedes-Benz by localizing brand perception and focusing on SUVs and Mercedes electric cars. My name is Roya El-Shamsi.
Nihal El-Bakri.
Michelle Dias.
Ashraf Abdul Wahab.
Zaina Sahtud.
So put on your seatbelts and let's go.
Ruwaya, why are you driving a fuel-driven car when you could be driving an electric vehicle?
But why should I drive an electric? There aren't many charging stations in Dubai, and I'm completely happy with the petrol station that I can find literally every 5 minutes.
Well, actually, the UAE is progressing very quickly on its electrification strategy. In fact, there are 200 charging stations in Dubai. Let's drive towards one now.
That is correct. You can find a fuel station anywhere in the UAE every 5 minutes. However, the UAE is currently working on providing and installing more charging stations for electric cars. Currently, DEWA has about 200. One of the incentives in Dubai, one of the incentives is to provide charging for free until December 29, 2019. This model charges it takes about 20 to 40 minutes to charge, whereas the other two models take 2 to 4 hours to charge. Now, Tesla has contracted with the UAE government to provide 200 electric cars, and
I never knew that, and I never knew that there were so many electric charging stations in the UAE. But do you think by 2025 it's going to be sufficient to switch to an electric car?
Based on the interviews I've done with FIWA, they're currently constructing 32 across the northern part of the Emirates.
Okay.
And they're going to be functional in 2 to 3 months' time.
Okay.
SIWA currently has built one, but is not installed and it's not operational. SIWA being the part in Sharjah. DEWA, Dubai, has about 200, as we discussed previously, and Abu Dhabi has about 12 operational charging stations. So and these incentives have been ongoing since 2016. So realistically speaking, by 2025, seems a bit too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Specifically because the battery also runs out when we're using the AC, and in a hot temperature country, you're going to need
Dubai,
to be charging.
Exactly, and in Dubai it's mostly hot most of the time.
Exactly.
So we need our AC in Dubai.
Yeah.
But did you know that I see what you mean, but I do believe that lithium batteries are going to get more and more efficient, and the range is going to just improve from there. And the UAE is always a front runner in innovation. If they have an innovation month, it's going to just get better, and it's going to roll out more electronic cars in the future.
So Mercedes should have like a electric car month in the UAE, something like that, and to promote it and to market it that way. Don't you guys think that would also work?
I think that's a fantastic idea, Ruwaya.
But Ruwaya, what do you mean about Mercedes month, the awareness month for electrification?
Like for example, Mercedes can have a whole month where they just market their electric car, and for example they give free charging stations. They kind of promote it by doing pop-ups or where their electric car is driving around. I don't know, like some kind of marketing strategy where it's just 1 month of being electrified maybe, or like get electrified with Mercedes, something like that.
So do you think that you need Mercedes to highlight their charging stations they're available and building infrastructure in UAE currently in Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
Yeah, I totally think that, especially if they want to be the #1 electric car in the UAE, and we all know that Tesla's right now the #1. So I think Mercedes really need to kind of strategize their marketing and really promote it and make it very hip and trendy, so that people my age that want to switch from SUVs to electric cars, they kind of get excited about it, and they kind of be like, yeah, you know, we want to do it, we want to go electric. And why should we go electric? Mercedes really need to like show us why I should go electric.
So focusing on the youth generation as a segment to focus on for electrification, this is what you're looking for?
Focus on youth, and most importantly focus on women that are in the business in businesses, and that are really becoming important people in the UAE. And we all know that UAE pushes women, so even if Mercedes focuses on women, and they have this initiative called She's Mercedes.
Yeah, I hear that.
Generation, Nihal, an electric car doesn't always have to be just an electric car.
What do you mean, not just an electric car?
Well, a phone used to be just a phone before Apple came in, and now it's an internet, a camera, everything. So an electric car opens a range of opportunities to change the concept completely. If you have an autonomous feature available in your car, you are free to use your ride with additional benefits. So that is
like an experience.
exactly. So that's a concept that Mercedes can work on to go ahead and put out a concept in 2020, for example, the Expo 2020 in Dubai. What do you think?
I think that's an amazing idea. Mercedes, work on it.
Incentives.
Sorry.
Girls, I can see the idea of electrification and the innovation that can come to the market soon, but how can I get benefit of this? And I'm not convinced enough.
Good question. Did you know that DIWA, RTA, and DSCE are providing electric vehicle owners incentives such as free green parking, free charging, and free registration and renewal, free SALIC, up until December though, 2019.
Only till the end of the year?
Unfortunately, I've asked them if they're planning to renew, and they told us you'll know when the public knows. So if they want to roll out their cars by 2025, there should be incentives, continued incentives for our generation to shift from fuel-based cars to electric cars.
I can see the pillars that DIWA and government try to emphasize helping people. What I suggest, if Mercedes can help in taking the lead in this by continuing the investment in such an incentives for the people or for the customers that they are taking Mercedes electrification car, EQC, it will help much more in this. What do you think, Michelle?
I agree with you completely.
Okay, let's take on.
So with all that been said about government and electric cars, I totally agree with it. But as a client, why should I buy a Mercedes electric car and get electrified by Mercedes? What are my benefits as a client?
Now, guys, all what you said was like extremely good, but we should never neglect the basics. So going back to the basics, 65% of the people we surveyed prefer purchasing a car with the service package incurred in the price rather than paying it in milestones. So don't you think that you would consider it if they had the service package incurred in the price?
Yeah, and if it was incurred in the when I am buying an electric car, I honestly wouldn't mind switching because I'd have a benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if I am considering switching to an electric car by 2025 or after, how much am I going to pay for it?
So basically, the competitors are offering the electric cars within a range of $75,000 to $80,000.
Oh, okay. So I heard you just came back from vacation?
I did.
Wow.
And you know what? I realized that people in the GCC prefer driving an SUV rather than a sedan or a sports car.
Yeah.
And because I have a sports car, I feel like I want to shift to driving an SUV now.
Yeah.
I did a survey actually, and more than 50% of the population over here prefer driving an SUV.
So why don't you get a Mercedes SUV?
Honestly, I did go through to their website to check out what SUVs they have, and I was overwhelmed with the amount of
models, right?
Yeah,
I know.
It's a lot, and I couldn't take a decision.
I went through the same thing, which is why I went back to the showroom where it was more informative and I understood exactly what I needed, and I had a salesperson to help me throughout that. And regarding this, I did a psychology test about standard economic and behavioral economic. Standard economic is when it says that the more the better. However, when we look at behavioral economic, when it comes to Mercedes models, people actually prefer simpler choices.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Yeah, and based on the psychology test that I did, most of the answers that I got regarding the different types of Mercedes models where that it's too much, make it more simple. Just have 3 to 4 models that should be focused on for the GCC and for the people that want to buy SUV Mercedes in the GCC.
Because that's what I felt. I felt like if I went for a Mercedes and I chose a specific model, I might regret it and say, oh, why didn't I choose the other model? You know what, Ruwaya? I think that's a very good idea. I'm gonna go to the showroom and speak to a dedicated salesperson that will narrow down the most selling SUVs into the 4 models. And then I can make a decision. And guys, I think our next cruise is gonna be in my Mercedes SUV.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Hi guys. E-cars can become cheaper if they introduce circular economy. Hi, I'm Peter from Team 5. There is 2 ways car manufacturing companies can reduce their cost of production for e-cars through circular economy. This one option is reuse, the other option is recycle. In reuse, the discarded or used lithium batteries can be put in use for storing electricity from solar panel, windmill and from national grid to distribute to the various parts of the country. The other option is to recycle the batteries and extract key elements like cobalt, nickel, lithium, which can be reintroduced into the battery production system and generate second streams of revenue, and which ways I have a clean energy for this world. Thank you.
So to conclude our video,
we don't think Mercedes-Benz should roll out their electric vehicles by 2025.
And in order to be the preferred SUVs, they should narrow down their SUV models.
thank you for listening to us and watching us. Bye.
Bye.